Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel and I'm the High Mileage Helper. On this channel, my goal is to be able to help you learn more about the RV transporting industry, as well as give how-to videos for your truck, and then give recommendations along the way. So if this is our first time meeting, just consider subscribing, hitting the like button if you get good value. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you where I stay at night when I'm loaded on the road, and we'll go ahead and get right into the video coming up. So as you guys can tell, I am not in my truck. I do not have a load right now, and I'm actually in my other vehicle going up to visit my grandma, and I'm going to be helping her out with a few things, but I wanted to go ahead and make some videos for you guys, just kind of what's been on my mind recently. So starting with number one for this video, what places do I stay at overnight when I am loaded? And the first thing for me is the convenience of the fuel stations that I fill up at. For me with Synergy, we have our biggest fuel discounts at the Petro and TAs. We have other discounts at other places, but TA and Petro are the number one places in my book for stopping at when I need fuel. Now let's say I don't need fuel, which happens more often because I have an auxiliary tank. I have a lot more fuel. I don't have to fuel up every single day. So for me, if I don't need fuel that night and I'm not going to need it for another day or two or whatever, then that kind of opens up the field of places I'm willing to go to. So number one, again, would just be TA Petros. After that, I would still stick with actual truck stops. Love's, Flying J, Pilot, those big name truck stops, those would be my number two. Maybe your company or a company you're looking to get hired onto, they have bigger discounts at those places. Great. You can do the reverse of what I'm doing with these different truck stops, but staying at a place with the right parking for our type of vehicles. You're not going to get run off by somebody who, they say no parking for RVs or trucks or any of the number of those things. Truck stops would probably be the best chance for you to get a good space and a place where you're going to be able to get a shower and maybe some decent food depending on where you're at. If there's a restaurant a part of it, or places nearby that are going to actually serve real food. Those are my top two. After that, after all those different types of truck stops, my next option would be going to a Walmart. And that can be a little tricky, and we're just going to kind of break this down. So most Walmarts in the US, they're okay with you parking there. They'll have signs posted on their big light poles saying, hey, security cameras are in place, don't be stupid. Essentially, but some Walmarts will say no transporting, no RVs, no any bigger vehicle, or you're going to be towed. I actually was trying to make this video about a week ago, and you couldn't actually hear the audio, so I'm just redoing it again. But I was actually in a Walmart where that was the case, and I was in Kansas, and they had signs posted up, hey, you will be towed, or you will be booted. We don't mess around. And so there are Walmarts, I would say generally more in the South, that prefer you to not park there. But apparently, slightly to the west, Kansas, it's a little like that as well, apparently. Really, it comes down to, have they had bad encounters? Have they had property damage from guys, pulling in there and wrecking their islands or their light poles or really, whatever the case may be. So Walmarts generally are okay with you. I believe sometimes in the South there are those height barriers where they try to say, hey, anything above 13 foot or whatever it is, it's a no-go. Well, we can actually fit underneath that, so it's fine. We can pull in there. I've never been, threatened to move out of a place that didn't have those, warning tow zone kind of a thing set up on their property. So again, truck stops, the preferred truck stop, if you need fuel, then other truck stops, and then Walmart's, mainly due to, the bigger parking lot. You can park on the outskirts. You're still going to be in light. There's still going to be some level of security or safety. In most Walmart parking lots late at night, I generally see cop cars coming through on a regular route, maybe every hour, sometimes even more consistently. So that may be one of the safest places it is for you to park when you're out on the road. The next place I would feel most comfortable out on the road when I go to park at night would probably be smaller grocery stores where they have a full shopping center, line of these stores, have a huge parking lot. Maybe it's not the type, a Walmart parking lot size where you'd feel probably even more comfortable, but smaller grocery stores with those kind of things going on there. I've parked there before without incident, so that would probably be my next option. If as things are dwindling down, there's some places where there's no good place to park. Things can get really kind of dicey out there sometimes. So finding a good place to park, it's well worth the investigation every night when you're plotting your course for that next day. Finding or maybe before the load even starts. Plotting and finding out those areas where you would feel more comfortable parking at those locations. And so lastly, I would just say, if you can't find the previous mentioned places, those bigger name truck stops, Walmart, grocery stores, those types of places where it's well lit, my last resort would be to go to a smaller chain type of truck stop. Generally, those places are a little bit more sketchier. They generally don't have the lighting you would probably want to have. They don't have the probably police presence or consistent traffic to where it would be a little odd if someone was there underneath your truck siphoning fuel or some crazy thing. That would be kind of a last resort for me. And I'm sure there's probably somebody out there wondering, Daniel, what about rest areas? Is there a reason why you didn't include that? Did you forget it? And in my opinion, which doesn't have to be yours, in my opinion, I would not want to be sleeping at a rest area. Now, sometimes you may not have the option depending on your hours, your miles. Was there traffic before? Are you behind? Are you just getting too tired? Is the sun going down and you don't want to be driving that dark in a place you don't know? All those factors. But what about rest areas? And the reason why I'm not including this in a place that I would go is because, truthfully, I think I've maybe gone to a rest area to sleep a handful of times in 4 years. And there's a reason for that. My opinion is that sometimes those rest areas are so far out in the middle of nowhere. There are people there who are looking to take advantage of you, to steal from you, to hurt you. Those people are everywhere. The truth is, those people are really everywhere in this world. But in my opinion, I believe it's more dangerous at those rest areas, especially because if they were to steal something or somehow sabotage your vehicle, and maybe this is a little bit paranoid, but it's just where I'm kind of at. I don't want to make myself, I don't want to put myself in a very vulnerable position. These rest areas are generally, sometimes they're lit, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're maintained and they have people going around. I've seen rest areas with security. I've seen it with a police presence. And I've also seen it, deserted. And the idea of being out in the middle of nowhere, generally, because that's where you're going to find these rest areas, because they're there, because there's nothing else. The idea of going to a rest area and parking there for the night and then waking up to, some type of sabotage, or somebody stole something from you, or you name it, or much worse probably could happen, and no one would know about it. All that to say, I just think it's very dangerous putting yourself in those kind of positions where if you had no service, sometimes that happens too. If you were to try to call or yell or anything else, no one might hear you. Something could go terribly wrong doing that. And so for that reason, I just choose to not go to those places, and I'll find anything before I actually go to those rest areas. You, after watching this, might say, Daniel, I've been doing it for years, going to rest stops. They're fine. You're paranoid, and you're being dumb, and that's okay. First of all, I'm glad you are safe, and you have been protected there at those places. But for me, it's just not worth the risk. Besides the fact that what if you got there and then got a flat tire there, or if there was some type of mechanical breakdown on your vehicle, and you're so far away from everybody, and it's probably going to cost even more for somebody to come out to a rest stop than it would be just down the road from an exit or someplace like that. If it were to happen on the road or in town, if you were to wake up in the morning and see, oh, there's a puddle that shouldn't be there. So for those reasons, rest areas are just not my cup of tea. So hopefully this list was helpful to you as you're just trying to decide where you're going to be parking at night. What's your game plan for where you're going to be staying? So whether it's your preferred truck stop where you get those bigger fuel discounts, or other big name truck stops, Walmarts, smaller grocery store parking lots, and then other truck stops that are smaller, that maybe are a little sketchy, but still somewhat safe to go there. Those would be my recommendations to you if you are looking to find a place to park at night. So if this was a help to you, just consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and hopefully I can give you more value in the coming videos. So with all that being said, I just hope you guys have a great day today, and we'll see you next time. God bless, guys.